Are we having a midlife crisis or something, dear?
Actually, yes. Yes, I am.
I guess with having a birthday today, you might be a year older.
I'm a year older and a car cooler. Let's get started.
You got that right, ladies and gents. It's his birthday today.
That's right. I'm 44 years old.
And you are showing your age there, dear.
Showing my age. Thank you. And how old are you?
You don't ask a lady how old she is.
That's right. Never ask your significant other how old they are. It's a bad idea.
And don't post it on the internet for sure.
Definitely. Yes, I just purchased this really sweet car. Let's take a look at this thing. It is very, very nice. So it is my birthday, and yes, I did consult my significant other, my wife, Mrs. Wizard, before I made this purchase. It was not a few grand. It was quite a hefty price. But even the price I paid is still fairly good for Dodge Vipers, which are going up, just like all exotic cars. And this is, I don't think this is an exotic car. It's just a very cool muscle car or sports car. But it is a 1994 Gen 1 Dodge Viper. And yes, I know it has Gen 3 wheels on it. I have actually the stock Gen 1 wheels. But I just bought this and it's been in an accident. It has a rebuilt title. And I bought it that way on purpose, fully knowing what exactly has happened here. Most of these Vipers that are on the road, the Gen 1 and Gen 2, have some sort of a history. Sometimes it shows up in a rebuilt title. Sometimes the owners get it fixed and don't report it, and you never know, you're none the wiser. Just like Tyler from Hoovie's Garage mentioned, when these cars first came out, people were wrecking left and right. There is no ABS, no traction control, no airbags, no nannies or controls or anything to keep you from getting in trouble. This car will do exactly what you want it to do, and if you want it to fishtail into a telephone pole, it will say, yes, let's do that right now. Boom. There is no backup or any kind of a computer watching what you're doing. This one was supposedly hit in the rear end area, and I actually have a receipt I'm going to show you guys. It went to a frame shop and it was checked out and everything looked good. But because I bought it knowing with the rebuilt title, I didn't have to spend $60,000, which is the going rate for a nice Gen 1 Viper now. You can check Cars and Beds or Bring a Trailer and you can check yourself. 50 to 60 is pretty common on these. I got it for $35,000. Let's take a look at this thing and see, did I do very good or not? So there's the beautiful front end, and we can know right off the bat that the front Viper emblem is missing. I actually will have one on order here pretty soon. That is the beginning of the list of things I'm going to have to do to this car. And those are the Gen 3 wheels, which are a chrome look. They look very nice. I may keep them on here. These are the generations with the side pipes that can burn your legs when you get out, so you need to be careful. But I purposely wanted that style. I love the look of that. It's classic hot rod style. And you can see on the rear that the paint has a few little scratches and things. And it's like there was something dropped on it, and you can see abrasions in the paint. I'm going to take it to Van Gogh here soon once I'm done going over the mechanicals and have them do a full workup on the paint job and get it back to its former glory. But it's really not that bad, really. It's just a few little scuffs here and there. Look at the sexy curves and lines on this, guys.
Why, thank you.
No, the car.
I guess.
But yes, it is a very, very cool car. Yes, you have some really nice lines as well, Mrs. Wizard.
Oh, why, thank you. I'll let you take me home tonight.
Very good. Let's go ahead and pop the front hood on it and take a look underneath. I've already seen underneath, and it's not so pretty. So just like the old days on your hot rod, there was no hood latch underneath the dash. This one is just like the old days, like that old Malibu that's sitting up there. You go around to the front and you do it from there. Just like that. And then there's a secondary one here. And that's where you stop on a Viper. You now move to the side. There we go. It is very dusty under here. It's not shiny and pretty like the rest of the car is, but it is in good shape. It runs very well. It's got 21,000 miles on it. I did smell a little bit of burning oil when I drove it home. This valve cover gaskets, I can already see some of the seepage that's going on there. One of the things that's really cool about this car is the previous owner had a Gen 3 cooling fan installed on it, which really helps out with the cooling on these. These have trouble in stop and go traffic, and that eliminated it by doing that. I will clean up the dust and grime and make the paint shine again on the engine. I'll pull the valve covers off to do the gaskets, and I'll probably repaint them and make them pretty again as well. You can see they have these intake boots have been upgraded. But overall, it runs perfectly. It doesn't have any issues, and it doesn't overheat. It's very, very nice. This is the 8-liter V10 with 400 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. Several people have dynoed these just stock like they are and have actually seen 425 horsepower and closer to 500 pounds of torque. What kills you on these isn't so much the horsepower. It's the torque down low that will easily crack the rear tires loose very easily. And when you go to close these, you want to do it carefully. You don't want to be rough with it because the molding or the mold on this hood is very expensive. I think Jay Leno mentioned back in the day if you were to crack one of these, it's $24,000 for a new hood. That was Jay Leno's words. You kind of put down here, gently get it to about where it touches, and then there you go. You don't want to be over here pushing or doing weird things. You could crack, actually you could crack it and break it. So let me go get my rag. I don't like fingerprints on my car. I already have fist prints on it.
Wizard, are you going to wipe my chin when I get old too?
Sure.
Thanks, dear.
It might be the other way around though.
Maybe.
Well, we've seen the exterior and how beautiful it is. Let's let Mrs. Wizard show you guys on the interior. There's not a whole lot going on, but it's really cool in there.
Okay, ladies and gents, here we go. 21,527 miles it says down there. And it does have a center section there that kind of keeps track of some warning lights and whatnot in there as well. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that feature off, possibly because the fuel pump is running in the background. So we don't want to kill that for sure. But we do have a lovely tachometer there and speedometer, and that's it. There's nothing fancy going on here. As we scroll up to the very, very, very tiny little dash, very tiny. There's not much going on there, and it does have some snaps. Yes, those are snap heads, so you can put a top on here if you don't have the hard top on as well. It does have the tiniest little glove box. Looky, we have the original owner's manual. And if we thumb through, lovely, 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 lovely. Oh, wait. Oh. Let's see, at 22,000 miles, let's see, there we go. We're supposed to check the coolant, the hoses, the oil, the filter, the rear axle fluid, inspect the brake hoses, lube the tie rod ends and the ball joints, and check the exhaust system. Guess Wizard has some work cut out for himself. Unfortunately, what the service manual says is not actually what he's going to need to be working on, since he's got those valve cover gaskets to worry about first. But we have some more gauges over here, because obviously we didn't have anything important like the fuel or the oil pressure, the temperature gauge, which obviously is very important on a Gen 1 Viper. As we move down, you'll see we have very simple HVAC controls, very simple. And he tells me the AC does work. They have upgraded to a Pioneer stereo system, which is probably going to be much better than what it would have been in 1994. It is a manual 6-speed because this is called a Viper, and they don't come with anything else but a manual transmission. I asked the Wizard about that because, as you guys that have been here for a while know, he doesn't like stick shifts. Well, he says this one's worth it. I don't know. We'll see. I might get to drive this a lot. Has the teeny tiniest ashtray with, oh look, the previous owner left us a few bits of change in there as well. One thing that is quite interesting is this massive center area. I guess if you need space from your significant other, there is a lot of it here. And this is, we'll see when we get down below, the transmission is definitely in this center part. It does have some nice speakers in the center between the two seats. Well, we would have had glass back here, but the Wizard took that part off, and he did take off the hardtop as well. This car does come with the hardtop, and actually it does have the soft top, thanks to Tyler for not selling it with his when he sold his. As we look at the seats here, you'll see they have some serious bolster on the sides. They definitely hug you into place. And of course, being that the top is off, the Wizard does need something to protect that bald little noggin of his to keep getting sunburned. As we look at the door panel over there, we have some light gray and some dark, pretty much black on there. Notice that there is a door latch there, and there's one on the other side for the driver as well, and that is the only door latch. That's it. There's not one on the outside. So if you want to get in and the top is down, there's actually a little plastic window that will slide open, and you reach into the car to open the door. And here we are. We're back at the steering wheel. Now, even though this is a Dodge product, we don't see a Dodge symbol here. We have the lovely Viper snake staring back at us. There's no marks for, oh, hey, there's an airbag under here. There, oh, let me put a button for your cell phone and for your radio controls. None of that's on here. This is pretty much close to just a sheer racing steering wheel. Nothing fancy, nothing fabulous on here. Just the ability to control the wheels. So enough of this talk about the interior. Let's drive this up to the lift and get this up in the air.
So being it's a true muscle car, or almost an exotic car, it has staggered wheels. In the back, you can look back there, they are almost twice the width of the front wheels. At least 50 to 60% anyways, but it's pretty close. Let's go ahead and take a look under this thing. I'm with you guys. I haven't even seen underneath of it yet. I have been so busy, I haven't had a chance to get it up in the air. So let's look for some frame damage and let's look for some leaks. Here we can see the Gen 3 radiator fan we talked about. It is much larger than the original fan, so much so that it's almost bigger than the radiator itself. But it bolts right up. You just have to do some wiring mods and things, but nice cooling effect there. There's the front of our 8-liter V10. Looks like it has a decent belt on it. I don't see any sludge or oil or anything dripping or coolant. Our radiator also looked dry a minute ago. Looks like we see some wetness going on here. So it looks like someone did an oil change in the oil filter and just spilled oil all over the frame is probably what happened there. I can see it, it's kind of... So that's what's going on there. Let's check our brakes, which are about 3/4 left. It has some nice Coney shocks on it. Everything's nice and tight there. Steering rack has nothing wet inside of there. Go to this side. These control arms are just like tube steel welded together. Kind of interesting. Brakes are good. Shock is good. Nothing loose there. Let's look at this frame. It looks like just a stock frame up front. And if it was bent, you wouldn't be able to really see it or tell, but I don't see anything out of order that way. Here's our massive oil pan on this engine. It looks like an oil pan out of a ship or a boat or something. Huge. Nothing serious leaking going on there, but we do see up there, there's some oil. You can also see it has MLS Cometic head gaskets on it. It has been replaced in the past. The seller told me it's had head gaskets put on, and you can see they put the upgraded multi-layer shim, which is really great. But the valve covers are definitely leaking. Here's our T56 transmission, 6-speed. Everything's dry there. No rear main seal. Big metal plate. Here's where the seats are. And we're about 3/4 of the way back on the car. Here's our drive shaft. So it's such a long car, but the drivetrain with the V10 is so long that the drive shaft is very short.
Long car and a short shaft. Huh.
Short and girthy. Here's our differential. Nothing pouring out of there. And this has, like on a Jaguar, it has actual U-joints, not CV axles. So everything looks good there, nothing loose. Brakes look good. They're about half gone, but they're still good. Nothing loose there. Go to this side. U-joint's good. Shock is good. Brakes are about half gone. Uh-oh. That might need that wheel bearing either tightened up or replaced. It could be just a hub. Very, very slight movement there. I'll have to check into that. And here's some little bumpers. They're called jounce bumpers. So if you go to maximum compression on the suspension, it doesn't break things. It actually will hit that and stop it from going too much further. I didn't feel any or hear any clunks when I was driving it. Let's check the frame back here. I don't see any welding or anything like that being done. Everything looks like a stock Viper. I can see some bolts missing here. I think they just put a battery in not too long ago and the bolts are missing. These bolts are present, so I'll need to get some new bolts in there. Look at these wide tires. They're as wide as my forearm.
Wizard, there's a nail.
There sure is. It's not leaking, at least I hope not. I'm not too worried because these tires, I looked at the date code, 2017. They're 5 years old and they're mismatched. These are Pirelli P0s in the back. And in the front, these are 2017 as well, but they're not Pirellis. They're Hercules Raptus RT5s. I don't know, I might just get 4 new tires, guys. I'd like them all to match, and I don't know about a Hercules tire. I don't know if I've heard much good or bad about them. I just would rather have good Michelins on it or something. The owner mentioned there was some bolt or something that was bent. They replaced that, and then they straightened the frame and verified, and everything was within stock specs. It must have been a very minor adjustment. Let's go take a look at the receipt from the actual work that was done. So here we are with the receipt. I'm not going to show any names or anything on there, so I have that covered up. But you can see here they have set up and measure for 2.5 hours and pull mash. I don't even know what that means, pull mash. 3 hours, looks like 360 bucks is all it was, and they got everything lined back up. It was such a small repair as far as getting the frame to match up and everything back into factory spec. I don't know exactly what was damaged in the back, maybe the whole bumper, but whatever it was, it very likely totaled the vehicle, which it wouldn't be hard to do. Just like I mentioned, the hood was 24 grand for a new one. And back then the car might have been worth 20, 25 grand at that time. Maybe 30 and crash, and it cost that much to fix it, totaled. One of the crazy things is that the seller is actually from Newton, where we live here, and actually knew some family members on Mrs. Wizard's side of the family, and kind of a neat little connection there. But as we looked underneath, we could see the frame is not all mangled. It's not got some cop job welding or anything going on. It looked like, according to the receipt, it just needed to be straightened and everything back into spec. Very likely the totaling came from body, like bumpers or trunk lid, or who knows what was done back there. But the damage that was done really didn't do anything to the vehicle that would cause it to be unsafe or to ruin its handling characteristics. However, whenever, just like on the door jamb, it actually has salvage title, it's branded, and on the title itself it says rebuilt title. Whenever you have that permanent mark on a car, you literally can lose half the value of the car. Even though the damage wasn't all that great, it really wasn't that big of a deal as far as ruining the car. It didn't ruin the car. But seeing that documentation, most buyers will shy away. They'll be like, nope, nope, I'm not even touching that with a 10-foot pole. When I saw this car for sale, I wasn't afraid of it because like I mentioned, I talked with Tyler from Hoovie's Garage, and he said, Wizard, half of these cars have been in accidents. They all have the frame's been straightened or the body panel's been replaced. Some, like this one, are documented, and some are not, and you don't know what you're getting. But I took an advantage of this situation. I really don't want to spend 60 grand on a car right now. I've got plenty of other cars, but I always wanted a Viper, and this one came for sale literally just down the road and right in the price range where I was looking. Yes, it has a rebuilt title. As we've seen in the video, I don't care about that. It's actually in pretty good condition. I saved a ton of money by getting it that way. I intend to enjoy this car and drive it and take it to car shows and put some miles on it, not put it under a car cover and let it sit for the next 6 years. That's not what I'm going to do. I didn't look for a museum piece. I looked for a driver's car, something I can enjoy and not worry about a little scratch or a ding here or there. It's exactly what this is. And if you've watched Hoovie's Garage, you notice he actually had something similar like this 2 or 3 years ago, and it had some accident history or something with it as well, I believe. Or either that or it was blown head gaskets. I'm not sure. I don't remember. This one has had blown head gaskets like we saw. It's been fixed. It doesn't overheat. It runs great. It's got a Gen 3 fan, accident history. The pluses and the minuses come together, and I think it's a really good car. So can you get a good deal by buying a wrecked car? You can. But you have to be able to accept the gamble that something could have happened, that the frame is still tweaked or something else is majorly wrong. Kind of took a gamble here on this one, and it paid off, luckily. We'll do several more videos on this. I'm going to do some exhaust upgrades. I'm also going to fix the valve cover gaskets and take care of the leaks that are going on there, and then clean up the engine bay and any other things that I find that it might need. It does have a popping ball joint. I may take care of that. There will be definitely some videos ahead on this vehicle. It is so sweet. I can't wait to get it out and just cruise it and take it to car shows. I've always wanted one, like I said. If you guys would like to see some of the shortened version of our videos, we have tons of those going to be on a Facebook page, actually just recently set up. There is a link in the description, and you can go get kind of a shortened version of multiple different videos. You can scan through those, and there's some really, really good content on there. It'll be a lot easier to navigate than other almost 600 videos we have.
Over 600.
Over 600 videos we've made for you guys. This will be shortened versions, easier to navigate. You can see some of our top hits. It'll be really, really a good boon for you guys to go check those out. Click the link on the below for that, and also check the link in the description for our Amazon affiliates link. Any tools we use in the shop are listed for sale there, and we get a small cut, and we really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button, because Mrs. Wizard's going to get started on the bus soon, and there's going to be more Viper videos and all kinds of other really cool videos to watch. Thanks for watching.